Hello my lovelies, welcome back to Ahhhsoneo. This is a channel that is all about a luxury mindset, whether that is shoes, handbags, jewelry, well not so much jewelry, definitely makeup. So welcome back to my channel. If any of those topics are things that you are interested in, then you should definitely without a doubt hit the subscribe button. If you've already hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well so you can know every time I post a video. Thank you. Thank you. Did you do it? I see you. So, skipping right ahead. I am wearing this foundation, guys. I am wearing the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue Moisturizing Makeup Broad Spectrum SPF 45. The shade that was sent to me by influencer is 6W1 Sandalwood. When I have used Estee Lauder foundations in the past, I've either chosen 6W1 Sandalwood or I think it's the 5N1, which is the neutral. And I'll have some thoughts about that in a little bit, because even though I'm looking at myself in the viewfinder now and I think I look pretty damn good and it's a good match, I had to zhuzh it up a little bit with my powder. And I used my Airspun Cardi. I love this thing. I zhuzhed it up a little bit to make it the way I wanted it to look. So there you go. So before I chat too much, I do have a video where I'm putting it on. So we'll flip to that right now and then we'll come back to my thoughts on this one. So I am trying the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue Moisturizing Makeup SPF 45, and the box does say to shake it. I am just going to go ahead and use my fingers to apply, and actually the way I've been trying it has been with the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. So I'm going to do the primer first and follow it with this. Okay, next I'm going to go in with powder and blend it out a little bit. You know how it is. We all got to zhuzh it up at the end, right? Be right back. I want to thank influencer, I forget what they're officially called, but I do want to thank them for sending this to me complimentary. I am a small channel and I don't even qualify for Octoly. Or do I? I don't know. I think they bumped up how many subscribers you had to have before they would look at you. So whatever. But every once in a while I will get stuff from influencer. Sometimes it's makeup, sometimes it's skincare. I'd say maybe I get 3 or 4 products from them a month. I mean a year. I am really grateful to have received this because this is not the kind of foundation I would have reached out for myself. And mainly because of the way this foundation is described. My favorite Estee Lauder foundation is the Double Wear Light because it's very light. If you know me and my skin, you know that I'm a dry skin girl, so I shy away from full foundation coverage because, you know, when you're dry and you go full foundation, you can crack like a dust bowl in the Sahara, baby. And I'm not trying to do that. So, yeah, I prefer my foundations to be dewy, moisturizing, very light, where you can see my skin. That is my preference. Even though I'm dry, I've still got damn good skin. Anyway, so let me read what they say about this foundation. It says, more than makeup, it rescues skin with soothing hydration, ding ding ding, and skin-loving ingredients, including probiotic technology, chia seed extract, and iron-charged water. Because if it's not iron-charged, why do you have it? Skin is plump with moisture and has an instant radiant glow. Full coverage, lightweight formula, immediately covers visible redness and diffuses the look of fine dry lines, pores, and spots. Look flawless and smooth, which I agree. Stays color true, all day long wear, and then ophthalmologist and dermatologist tested. Shake well. Shake it, shake it, shake it. So, yeah. So, this retails for $45. It is available on Ulta, Sephora, the Estee Lauder website, and in all the department stores. So definitely go check it out. I have seen this in store. So go check it out if you are interested, or get you to a Sephora and get you a sample, girl. Because me, I'm all about the samples. With the exception of drugstore foundations, because you can't get a sample, drugstore, fix that. But anything that is high-end or available at Sephora or department stores, I will not purchase without getting a sample first, making sure that I'm properly color matched. Even when I'm color matched in store, I still want to be, I still want a sample because the lighting makes all the difference. But anyway, so you saw me put it on. What did you guys think? I did use my fingers. Oh, wait. All of last week I was in Dallas for business, and I took this foundation and one other, and I'll talk about that later, and I would mix them together, and I used it every day because I was doing presentations and so on. I wore makeup, and so I will say it's not a first impressions. I have used this daily for a week. So yeah, okay. But when I was in Dallas, I would use either a brush or beauty blender because I wanted to see how it goes on. And all of those different application methods I was completely satisfied with. With the brush, I felt like I needed to work really fast, but when I was using my fingers or beauty blender, I felt it was much easier to put it on, spread it around, and get it all over my face. So I did like that. I definitely think this is a good all-day wear foundation. I didn't have, like, I would come up after the day and before dinner, and I would look at myself in the mirror and I would go, okay, I still see it. I didn't feel like it was eaten up by my skin as the day goes on. Now, I gotta say this though, as a dry skin girl, most foundations are still on my skin at the end of the day. I'm not someone who's oily where the oil starts to seep through, so I didn't really see that. I did powder this. I used the Laura Mercier powder all of last week. Today I used Coty, but when I was using this for a week straight, I did use Laura Mercier, and I thought the two paired really, really nicely. I liked that a lot. I did pair this with my Chanel foundation last week, and that was simply because I feel like the color is just a smidge off. I feel like the 6W1 is my perfect summer color when I do tend to look a little darker because, you know, I live in Arizona. 1 second outside during the summer and poof, you got a tan. It's that simple. So I do feel, even though I'm wearing this alone, I did not mix this with a different foundation today. I felt I had to go in with a lot of powder to kind of like neutralize it a little bit and make it a little, not lighter, but lighter. You'll see when I'm applying it that it is just a smidge a little too dark, and I think when by April it will be the perfect color match for me. Right now with the bright light, I think it looks good now, definitely. So I don't think the color match is that far off, but it was enough for me to feel like I needed to add a slightly lighter foundation to it to get it perfect, in my opinion. So that was the only thing, is that you know, and that's not the fault of Influencer. They sent me what they think is the best match for me, and honestly I think this is a really good match, but I think it could have been better. So, but that's not their fault. I might have chosen the slightly lighter neutral foundation. Yeah. Now what surprised me by this, because whenever I see the words full coverage, I just think matte and flat. I really do. When I see full coverage, I think cake face, and I'm not a cake face girl. I don't like cake face. I am looking at myself right now, and it is a little more full coverage than my general preference. I really like dewy skin-like, where I don't look like I'm wearing foundation, with one exception, and that is when I'm presenting on stage in front of a lot of people. I do want to look very well put together, and people are looking at you from a distance and you're not face to face real close to people. And I mean, I was in a room with, I don't know, maybe 150 plus people, so lights, all of that. And so I did take this, not just because I wanted to try it, but also because I knew, hey, you're gonna be in a big room. I don't want, you know, with there were bright lights there too. It was a little warm on stage, not so much off stage. So I didn't want to run the risk of breaking a sweat, getting too hot, looking flushed, all of that. So for that purposes, I felt like I chose the exact right foundation to take that with me. I would also definitely like this in the summer, because right now it is winter, so I am a little drier, and so I'm not worried about any of that kind of thing. I'm not worried about oils, etc. But I know in the summer, when it is a bit more hot, I think this will definitely, not just with the color, but I think it will be a good fit for me during the summer, when I am trying to maybe have a little bit more matteness to my skin than I usually prefer, because of the weather changes. I did find it hydrating. Like, I didn't take it off at the end of the day and feel like, oh, my skin can finally breathe. Because for me, a lot of full coverage foundations, that's how I feel. I take it off at the end of the day and I'm like, oh, thank God, you know. And so that's why I'm not a fan of full coverage foundations. I've owned very few. The one that I like the most is Charlotte Tillbury. That is actually my favorite full coverage foundation, and then I like the Chanel one, and that's about it. Otherwise, I stay away from anything that says full coverage. This kind of confused me, because it's like Radiant Glow, full coverage, lightweight formula, blah blah blah, and I kind of felt like it really was all of those things. It did give me I don't know if I'm glowing, but it gave me almost, it's not dewy, don't get me wrong, this doesn't make me look dewy or anything. You know, this is definitely a full coverage foundation, but it was a comfortable full coverage foundation for me. And as a dry skin girl, like I said, I tend to stay away from full coverage because I don't find them comfortable and I want my skin to breathe. But even though I could feel this, I couldn't like feel it where I'm like, ugh, I'm cracking. It wasn't like that. What is on my chin, my neck? So it wasn't too bad. It really wasn't too bad. So it's still not something I would have reached for by myself, because there's so many other foundations that are more along the lines of what I like. I actually am planning on buying the Charlotte Tillbury full coverage one. And this reminds me of that. I don't think it's as moisturizing for full coverage foundation, but it does remind me of that. So I am glad for the opportunity to try it. But on my own, I don't think I would have purchased it. Does that make sense? I hope so. Anyway, so I will have my review on Sephora and Ulta. If you want to follow me on Influencer, I'll put that link down below as well. Or it's the same handle, Ahhhsoneo, so you can look it up there. If you're a dry skin girl, definitely moisturize and prep your skin before. If you're oily skin, powder it up. You should be good to go. So guys, hope you liked my review. Love you. Don't forget to subscribe. Always choose happiness and gratitude. Bye.